I hate coding and programming so much. I One of the biggest regrets in my life was going into like a semi-coding major for 4 years of my life. Luckily, it is only semi. Half of it is like business because it's information systems, but whatever. I'm expected to know at least a bit of Python and R and SQL or whatever. But this recent assignment that I've been given is like actually breaking my mind, and I despise it uh for every single moment of the last like oh my God, it's almost 4 p.m. So I've been working on this since like I don't know, 10 a.m. Last almost 6 hours. And guess what? Like, I would say maybe 3% of that was actually thinking about what the code was actually doing and what I was inputting into it. Then the last 97% is just troubleshooting and trying to fix those stupid errors that I did not account for whatsoever. And here's the thing about programming. This video is like two parts. The first one is actually getting into like ideologically why I hate programming and maybe the solution, which is giving up. But the second one is going through every single error and how just hypocritical uh communicating with this console is. Uh like every single time I get an error, I'm always just like, but is that's already in the code? I already answered that. Why is it giving me an error at all? So I assume what I need to do, like before I need to actually, here's the thing, before I actually input even one single line of code, I can't even say print hello world, okay? That's how bad I am. You need to read every single documentation about the code because otherwise you're gonna get into a billion errors. You're gonna be you're gonna be struck with something you've never even heard of before. Just come up and say, "Hey, idiot, you didn't account for this," because programming is there's a billion little rules that you have to keep track of and disobey one and everything falls apart. So I guess the lecturers when they gave us this assignment or like even just introductory courses on programming, they don't give you the documentation ever. They want it to be pretty hands-on and generally it's okay because the code is, simple. You only need to calculate like, I don't know, the BMI of something. That's like an actual practice that I did for Java. But like once you get into fields and classes, that stuff I always get errors on. And that's not taught. That is in the documentation, I bet. Uh, okay. Whatever. Let's just get into it. So, I'm doing data science stuff. That's the scope that I'm in. I'm using Pandas over here. And by the way, this is literally just Google Colab or like Jupyter Notebooks. This is not even an IDE. This ain't like Visual Studio Code. I ain't doing anything even hard, even remotely hardcore. This is just you put in blocks of code, you run them individually, and if there's an error, you can fix it in that block of code. But like even then, I go back to Stack Overflow and then back into the code, and I'm like, what is going on? Nothing is making any sense whatsoever. Okay, let's start. So I actually had two assignments. One of them was, oh God, I need to go back to the recesses of my mind of like 3 hours ago when I was actually working on this. Um, okay, hold on. So I needed to put in, this is like machine learning, putting in model stuff. This is the SVR model. It's about predicting data and forecasting uh, data using models. That's the gist of it. That's the easiest way to put it, basically. And the other one was the ARIMA model. So it's based. So okay, I have data. I put it into the models, and it predicts or like forecasts the data in the future. That's literally the basic concept of what's going on right now. And immediately, this block of, oh my God, this block has given me so much bullshit. First of all, when I tried to, okay, in data, there's always tables, and in tables, there's rows and columns. Looks like this. So this is a column, this is a row, and what I needed to do, these hashtags are basically like the assignment that we were supposed to do. We were supposed to put in this block of code here, and we were supposed to drop these columns or delete entire columns. Now, when I tried doing this the first time, it said axis not found, aka those columns didn't exist. There is no columns to delete if they didn't exist in the first place, which doesn't make sense because they're right here. What I didn't understand was I ran the code multiple times, which meant that it did delete it the first time, but the second time it couldn't delete a column that already was deleted. So that was me for being stupid, but I did not get it for like so long. And then the second one, well, it couldn't, I don't think it can rename something that already has that name. So that was an issue. And this fucking bullshit. This is what I mean by um this is gonna be an example of code being just hypocritical, or at least the person who gave me this assignment. So first of all, I put in code for like, here's the format that it's supposed to be in. As you can see, it is month, day, year. But when I put that in, it didn't work. So I just deleted. I put in. I realized that I didn't put in the right format, and then I reformatted it to the correct month, day, year, and then that still didn't work, and then I just deleted it because I heard from Stack Overflow somewhere else, and it just works on its own apparently. So I didn't even need to format it whatsoever. That's fucking great. What a great big waste of my time. That's like the entire flow. Whenever I try to fix something, I read something, I've tried to fix it, it still doesn't work. I do it again, and then like there's a billion ways you could quote unquote fix it, but in actuality, there's only one, and I need to redo that for every single line of code, and that is incredibly tedious. Oh my God. Okay, so that's not the only thing. When it comes to this thing, I'm supposed to put in the model, but the error says date time. Like, it can't be, the date time couldn't be promoted to float 64. So I did try to put it into a float, but then a completely different error came up about like the structure of the stupid table. Oh, I don't know. I don't care. I don't understand. Where are you supposed to even know this shit from? What's uh, what's infuriating, first of all, is that I was literally told to put it into the date-time format. So like the model that I was also given to use doesn't work with the format that I was told to use. So like what the hell am I supposed to do? Secondly, this is like the on the right side here. This is the working uh code that I was given as like an example to kind of look at and make sure the code is correct. And you'd think that would be an easy way out, or like, oh, I could easily just copy paste this stuff, but guess what? It is the exact same code. Look at this. So why does it work here, but it doesn't work here when they're the exact same code? Uh, I mean, this one does use the data set from like a library, but this one uses the data set from a CSV, but like that's it? What I don't I don't I don't know. This one also gave me a lot of issues. What was it? Data frame does not attribute data. Like I didn't use this, I didn't set up this variable or something. And then I just, whatever. I just searched up how to sample it directly instead of using it from this one. Where was it? This one. This code doesn't work either, so I just had to find it from somewhere else. Okay, so the second half, I did, okay, so the first model I can't even get to work, so that's already like 50% score. Just my maximum score for this assignment that I worked like 4 hours on is 50 at most. But for the second half, I was able to do everything. I was able to run all of the code at least. But when I actually start like seeing the results, it's super wonky and shitty, and I don't know how to fix it because the only parameters here are just these three numbers, and I put in a bunch of different. What you're supposed to do is like find the outlier numbers here, like 1 and 1, and yeah. This one uses, you know what, I can just do a live demonstration, fuck it. It'll be quick. That here, look at that. So the average temperature, which is like the actual data, it's like in between the 45 range, 40, 39, 46. This is the predicted data. And at the beginning, it's 43 and then it slightly goes up and up again and up. And eventually it goes to 100 for some reason. This model sucks. It's a straight line going up, even though the actual data looks nothing like that. So like what the fuck? What? Oh my god. Okay, over here he seems to have done it correctly. So it's possible for it to be right, but mine sucks. Even though I did the exact same thing. Oh my god, okay. This last part is also pretty infuriating. The input says it has null values. I deleted all of the null values, or turned them into 0 or something. It still doesn't work. That is just stupid. Sometimes it feels like whenever I'm coding, I'm talking to like an actual toddler who doesn't understand anything. What are you talking about? It just doesn't make any logical sense. I deleted all the null values. What are you talking about? What do you mean it contains them? What do you put the circle in the square hole. Okay, next one. That was halfway through. This is my second assignment, and you're supposed to do machine learning for a couple of algorithms. One of them is like association rule and clustering and classification. What all of that means is that you put data in, and the model will try to separate that data into separate clusters based on different definitions, not different definitions, but like how the data is described or classified. Like, maybe there's a good explanation here, but it honestly doesn't really matter. All you need to know is that I was trying to do something, and oh yeah, actually the best way to say it is like data gets clustered based on its different attributes, and that's what the model is trying to do. Okay. So, oh my God, I fucking hate this one. Look, when I try to do this, this is all this is doing. It's just installing Picaret. And okay, fair enough. This time it worked. Last time, it had a syntax error out of all things when I tried to install it. So I was going insane. Like, does the program not understand what the word install means? Okay. It seems to be pretty random whenever it works or when it doesn't work, which is also infuriating. Like, sometimes some things work and sometimes it doesn't. Why? Literally, like, from what I can see, nothing has changed. So why does it work on sometimes and sometimes it doesn't? It's not even consistent whenever it wants to actually kill me. This programming to me is like some sick torture method because it's just you're trying to do something and all the time you'll just be told no, you can't do that and you don't know why. Okay, so this is also stupid. Um, Picaret is a library in Python, and I tried using it, but I can't ever use this specific module. Now, I didn't really understand. I of course didn't know why, but then I searched it up. It said this specific version of Picaret doesn't have A rules. So I went back and tried to download a different version of Picret that did have A rules, and guess what? It didn't work. It did not download at all. Like it wasn't even my own fault that Picret didn't download properly. Install actually. Install is the better word. It said like um the problem was in the subprocess but it likely doesn't have a problem with the syntax I used, which was pip install picaret equals version this. So I can't even do anything about that. Like that's not even my own coding. That's just the program not working. It can't install the certain version that I wanted. And that means I can't use this module anymore. So I had to find another way to use the association rule to do whatever I actually wanted to do here. So here it is, uh, hours later, and I used this website. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I put in the CSV. Okay, this is another part where like I needed to actually read the documentation because not only did I need to know how to program it, I also need to know what I was even doing. Like, what the hell is an a priori algorithm? And the problem that I had was like, here it is, I think. Yeah. So this one divides it into baskets of countries, as like Portugal, France, and United Kingdom, and also has these groups of certain columns. It has invoice, description, and quantity of product. And I needed to figure out what exactly was the correlation or like what an equivalent group of columns would be in my own data set, which looks a lot like this. At patient, these are two completely different like uh I don't know genres of data sets because this one is for products and selling the amount of stuff, but this one is about getting heart attacks in patients. So that's confusing as all hell. I don't know if that had anything to do with the reason why I couldn't figure it out. Probably did. I tried it with multiple different combinations of these columns. And I don't know, I guess I need to read more, but like where? Uh, okay. This one, yeah, I had to hot encode it, whatever. And yep, yeah. The issue was that it was an empty data frame, which doesn't make any goddamn sense. The data is right here. Why would it be empty? It's what the hell? Alright, so to recap, for my first assignment, I can't even do one half of the assignment correctly because I was told to use a certain data type, which is date time, but when I tried to use the actual model, it wouldn't allow for that data type. And it will works 100% fine in the original code, so it doesn't work here for no reason actually, for whatever reason, I don't know. For the second half of that first assignment, I was able to do it, but the results were completely wonky and stupid. And for my second assignment, I can't even get off the ground because my first attempt was trying to use a library that I can't even install. So I tried using a different method, and for some reason I get this stupid error that says the data is empty when I actually have the data right here. What the hell is it on about? And that's pretty much it. I don't want to make this one too long, I guess, even though it's probably already been 15 minutes. Okay, hope you had a kick out of my anger and hatred. I regret getting into this major. I'm going to. Oh god, I'm probably gonna take a very long break, just clear my mind off of this stuff, because this is hell. This is a living hell. You know what's really funny? I enjoyed the algorithmic programming class. I don't remember what it was called, but we basically did a bunch of programming puzzles like recursion. I really enjoyed doing those recursion puzzles, but I hate actually coding practically. I tried using um I was forced to do web programming for one time, and there was an issue where there was a syntax issue basically, but I didn't get that. Like I was looking at the source and then my own code, and it never worked. And after like 5 days on a really tight deadline, I finally got it to work. And after that, it just like that was problem one out of a billion problems, and I wasn't even 50% through of doing everything that I needed to, so I decided to scale down completely just because of this one problem. It was pretty bullshit. And we had to give in an unfinished product, or assignment. And that's why I am only pro not fluent. I'm only fluent in, in fucking Scratch. In Scratch, the children's programming language that uses blocks. I made a video game in that, and like an actually big scale one. But I mean, I guess a big scale game in Scratch doesn't. That's not really an accomplishment. It's an RPG. It was a good time. The amount of programming that I did in that for like an entire week that I was obsessed with it. And I don't know. I guess I had fun. But goddamn, does venturing anything beyond a Scratch is completely just painful. Okay. Thanks for listening. Hope maybe there's some advice in the comments for how do I live because I think I can only survive if I just like not be in any computer science job that involves using computers. I hate this. Okay, I just want death. Okay, consume everything and goodbye.